Chris, considering what we saw Georgia do to Oregon, considering what we saw in Fayetteville, isn't this season teetering on what you set us up for the entire offseason? You set us up for the positive side, then you said the negative. Look at this early season schedule, and if this roster and this team gets beat up physically and also gets beat up emotionally, then it could go south.
Well, and here's the thing, though, Mark, too. Through 2 weeks, this season, I mean, outside of Georgia State being a much tougher 21-point victory than I expected, like Arkansas went exactly as I thought it would. Outside of it being as high scoring as it was, I did not expect it to be so high scoring. But we talked about for months that it was a bad matchup in the trenches, right? The physicality of Arkansas, and you knew what your deficiencies were. And it was a game, a matchup of their strength against your weakness, and you were going to get exposed. Georgia's the same way. And here's the thing. Georgia is going to beat up on a lot of people. I mean, they're really good. We're talking about a Bulldogs team. They ain't surrendered a touchdown yet, right? Stetson Bennett's thrown for 300+ in the first 2 games. I mean, I picked them to go undefeated, really, really good football team. But, yeah, I mean, Mark, like you mentioned, if you do start this season 1-2, it's exactly where I picked you. You're going to have the 2 games against Charlotte and SC State, I think, to lick your wounds and to battle back and to sort of figure some things out. Then the season, I think, Mark, will come to a head in Lexington against Kentucky. You know, I listed the Missouri game in the preseason as the most important game, and I stand by that because here's the thing. Folks think 6-6 is the worst case scenario, disaster, failure. No. Lose to Mizzou. Going 5-7, that will be utter disaster, right? That's why I picked it as the game you have to win to have a good year. But I did mention in the preseason, I stand by it. That game in Lexington against Kentucky, that's the inflection point game. And I understand everybody's riding high on Kentucky right now. They just beat Florida. But if this South Carolina football team is going to overachieve and they're going to hit 7 or more wins, I think that's the game you have to have. Bottom line, it's just the game you have to have. So they've got to figure some things out over the next couple of weeks. You know, the schedule will soften up, the matchups will get better. But yeah, Mark, I mean, like you said, I mean, we talked about it all preseason. And I know the hype and energy and excitement from yours truly was felt, and of course, Gamecock Nation. But I think Gamecock Nation's getting a heavy dose of reality right now. That, you know what, all that hype and excitement and all that hoopla is great, but when you get into SEC play, you get punched in the face. And now what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? So what happened in Fayetteville, to me at least, and I kept realistic expectations all throughout the preseason, and I most certainly will not apologize for it. It was expected. It was expected. And there's a reason they are recruiting the line of scrimmage so heavily. There's a reason they are. They need the reinforcements, and reinforcements are on the way, but they've got to try to find a way to make it work with the guys they have right now. They simply don't have the talent up front to win and beat a team like an Arkansas or a Georgia. That's the harsh reality. So that doesn't mean they can't still have a great season, but that is the truth. And watching them play, who would deny that? So, again, positives to be pulled from Arkansas, but Mark, to your point, outside of Georgia State being a little bit tougher, a little bit crazier than maybe I expected, this team's strengths and weaknesses in the start of the year, it's been exactly what I expected.